Have you ever gazed at someone you care about, a parent, grandparent, or dear friend, in their late 70s or 80s and thought, they seem okay, just a bit slower, maybe a little forgetful? It's easy to dismiss those slight pauses in conversation. The times they rest more often than before, the way they pause at each step as if they're measuring their next move. We all tell ourselves that's simply what getting older looks like. But what if those subtle shifts, the sudden weariness, the skipped meals, the forgotten birthdays, the way they tighten their grip on the wall while walking, aren't merely harmless quirks of age, but urgent signals their body is desperately sending? What if those gentle whispers are trying to tell you that something more serious is unfolding beneath the surface? Imagine this. Once vibrant mornings spent chatting over coffee, the daily ritual of sharing laughter and memories, now punctuated by a distant look, an unsteady step, an unexplained fatigue. Perhaps you notice your loved one hesitating before rising from a chair, or their one steady hand trembles when they reach for a glass. You might chalk it up to typical aging, yet science tells us that after age 75, an astonishing 99% of all deaths stem from just 5 core causes. 5 causes that, left unrecognized, quietly steal life's final chapters before anyone even realizes there was a fight left to be won. This isn't meant to scare you. It's meant to arm you with knowledge born from compassion, to ensure that the twilight years of those you love unfold with dignity, strength, and fulfillment, not unnecessary suffering. Let's begin where many journeys end, the heart. Consider Henry, who at 78 was the picture of morning energy. You'd see him at dawn, cap pulled low, walking briskly through the neighborhood, greeting neighbors with a cheerful wave. Then one day, the walk stopped. When someone finally asked why he'd been missing, he shrugged and said he was just a bit tired. No big deal. But 6 months later, he was in the hospital with congestive heart failure. His heart had been silently straining for months. He never experienced a dramatic, cinematic heart attack. Instead, his body had given up small bits of vigor, his morning walks, his ease of breathing, until it simply couldn't compensate any longer. Cardiovascular disease after 75 often unfolds like a slow, whispered conversation between your arteries and your heart. The vessels stiffen over time, blood pressure creeps upward, cholesterol plaques narrow the channels for blood flow, and the heart labors in silence. Yet when discomfort emerges, a shortness of breath after climbing a flight of stairs, a mild chest ache brushed off as indigestion, or a fleeting dizzy spell. These are rarely labeled as warning signs. They get lost in the chorus of, "I'm just getting older." The truth is that persistent tiredness, breathlessness with minimal exertion, or that nagging sense of heaviness in the chest demand attention. When you care for someone over 75, pay heed when they start to retreat from activities they once loved, gardening, strolling, meeting friends. These aren't mere mood swings. They are the heart's plea for help. Fortunately, even small steps can yield substantial benefits. Regular checkups to monitor blood pressure and cholesterol, incorporating heart-healthy foods like oats, berries, and leafy greens into daily meals, and committing to gentle exercise, such as a 20-minute walk each day, can strengthen cardiovascular resilience more than you might expect. Checking in with loved ones, asking how they feel, and noting any newfound reluctance to move can catch early declines. The sooner you respond, the more effectively you can intervene, potentially rewriting the story of those final years. While the heart presides over life's rhythm, the mind shapes our very essence, our memories, our personality, our ability to connect with others. Neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's are insidious because they slowly erode identity itself. Picture Martha, 80 years old, known for her warm smile and famous apple pie, who one day misplaced her keys, then again the next day. Her family laughed it off as harmless forgetfulness until she couldn't recall her grandson's name. By the time she received a diagnosis of Alzheimer's, the disease had firmly taken root. The brain, under attack by harmful protein clumps forming plaques and tangles, sees its communication pathways disrupted. Cells that once spoke in clear, fluid language now struggle to pass messages, leading to memory lapses, confusion, and changes in behavior and mood. We often assume that memory lapses are inevitable, senior moments we all must accept. Yet early signs can be emotional. A vivacious friend becomes withdrawn. A careful decision-maker starts giving away money recklessly. or someone repeats stories without realizing it. These aren't mere quirks. They're clues that demand our attention. While there's no cure yet, we possess tools to strengthen the mind's defenses. Daily mental engagement, through puzzles, reading, conversation, or mastering a new hobby, builds cognitive reserve. A Mediterranean-style diet rich in fruits, vegetables, fish, olive oil, and nuts nourishes both body and mind. And deep, restorative sleep helps clear harmful proteins, like a nightly cleaning crew tending to our brain's housekeeping. If you notice lapses in memory or alterations in mood, approach the subject gently and start the conversation. Early detection can extend years of clarity, preserving connections that matter most. Even with a healthy heart and mind, the body's balance and mobility become crucial. Falls are often mischaracterized as accidents, yet for older adults they stand as a third leading cause of death after 75. Consider Robert, 82, proud of his independence, who slipped just once in his bathroom. One fracture led to a cascade of decline. Immobility bred weakness. Depression set in, meals were skipped, and within months his vitality unraveled. Bones lose density, muscles weaken, reaction time slow, and a simple misstep on a loose rug or a dim hallway can fracture hips or cause head injuries. Recovery, even when possible, is arduous and often incomplete. But falls aren't random misfortunes. They're symptoms of underlying risk factors. Medications that induce dizziness, slippery footwear, poor home lighting, and lack of strength training all conspire to increase fall risk. The solution lies in prevention. Home modifications, installing grab bars in bathrooms, adding non-slip mats, improving lighting and clearing clutter, reduce environmental hazards. Introducing balance exercises like Tai Chi or gentle chair yoga can train the body to correct itself after a misstep. Regular medication reviews with a pharmacist or physician can identify drugs that heighten fall risk. And most importantly, begin these interventions before a fall occurs. A single slip can rob someone of independence and confidence, but anticipation and preparation can help safeguard mobility and quality of life well into one's 80s and beyond. Yet lurking quietly in the shadows is another peril: respiratory infections. What seems like a common cold in younger years can escalate rapidly in older adults, leading to life-threatening pneumonia or other complications. Eleanor, 79, dismissed her cough as a mild inconvenience. By the time her breathing became labored, she needed hospitalization. After 75, our lungs lose elasticity. Mucus clearance becomes less efficient, and a weakened immune system struggles to repel even routine viruses. Chronic conditions like COPD, diabetes, or heart disease exacerbate vulnerability. A low-grade fever, persistent cough, lingering fatigue, or confusion are far from trivial. They are urgent calls for medical attention. Protection starts with prevention. Annual flu shots, pneumonia and RSV vaccines, and good hand hygiene are foundational defenses. Minimizing exposure during peak illness seasons, ensuring indoor air quality with purifiers or humidifiers, and speaking up when symptoms arise are all critical. Don't hesitate to reschedule a family visit if someone is unwell. What feels like a small kindness to you could be a life-saving precaution for your loved one. Early treatment can limit complications, shorten hospital stays, and preserve years of healthy living. Finally, there exists a danger that leaves no bruises or scars but cuts to the core of human need: social isolation and loneliness. Mary, 85, found herself alone as friends pass away and children moved to distant cities. She stopped reaching out, preferring solitude over the effort of connection. Her health slipped in leaps and bounds, not from a blow or disease, but from the absence of shared laughter, conversation, and touch. Research reveals that social isolation increases heart disease risk by 29% and stroke risk by 32%, while accelerating dementia onset. Depression in older adults can masquerade as apathy, skipped meals, missed appointments, or general disengagement. Without human connection, motivation falters, the immune system weakens, and even wounds, physical or emotional, heal more slowly. Yet the remedy can be beautifully simple: genuine connection. A phone call, a video chat, a weekly shared meal, involvement in a community group, or intergenerational activities with grandchildren can infuse life with renewed purpose. Encourage your loved one to pursue interests, book clubs, gardening groups, local classes, to foster new relationships. If you feel the sting of loneliness yourself, remember that asking for company is not a burden, but an act of courage. We all deserve community, and nurturing bonds at any age brings healing and vitality. Watching someone you love navigate aging can be painful and scary. You might feel helpless as you observe the subtle signs, the breathlessness after a few steps, the misplaced object that never turns up, the one cough that lingers too long, the day without a single word spoken to another soul. But you are not powerless. Awareness is the first step toward prevention, the spark that ignites hope and action. Whether it's a gentle conversation with a doctor about that unexplained fatigue, introducing heart-healthy foods at dinner, setting up weekly puzzle sessions, doing balance exercises in the living room, or simply picking up the phone to say, "I was thinking about you today." Each act matters. Aging is not an end point, but a new chapter, one that can be written with love, attention, and the right knowledge. Before we wrap up, let's pause to reflect on those 5 major causes that account for nearly 99% of deaths after 75. The hidden strain of cardiovascular disease, the quiet theft of neurodegenerative disorders, the life-altering impact of falls and mobility decline, the stealthy threat of respiratory infections, and the profound toll of social isolation and loneliness. These aren't abstract statistics. They're the lived experiences of people we know and cherish. Perhaps you've witnessed one of these unfold in your own life. If so, sharing your story could shine a light for someone else who feels lost or uncertain. I'd love to hear which of these silent threats surprised you the most, and any experiences you've had caring for a loved one. Please leave a comment below. Your voice could inspire action in another's life. If this video has given you new insights or a fresh perspective on aging, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to Elderly Wisdom Guide. Every week, we share compassionate, practical advice to help seniors and their families live with strength, purpose, and peace of mind. Together, we can ensure that growing older becomes not a burden, but an opportunity for connection, wisdom, and grace. Thank you for spending this time here with me today. Take care of your heart. Keep your mind active. Stay steady on your feet. Watch out for those quiet illnesses, and never underestimate the healing power of human connection. You're not alone. You're part of a wise and caring community. Stay strong, stay informed, and I'll see you in the next video.